What's going on, everybody? It's Carmine from Barmine Tech, and today we're going to be talking about setting up your own Jellyfin server. In the midst of Plex releasing that they're going to be increasing their prices for Plex Pass, and they're going to change the requirements and how Plex servers operate, especially when you share them out with friends and family, some people aren't very happy about these price increases, and they're looking for alternatives to have a similar outcome to what Plex offered, but for free. So today we're going to be talking about Jellyfin. Jellyfin is a free project. It works similarly to Plex. It doesn't have all the features of Plex, but it operates in the same manner. So we're going to go over how to set it up and how to get everything going. So we're going to go right into that. So on a side note, similar to when I cut all my hair off last year, yes, I trimmed my beard, had a little bit of a mishap trimming it the other night, and now I ended up with this. So hopefully it'll grow back soon. But that's enough of the side note. Let's get into comparing Plex and Jellyfin and then the setup. So to start off, if you Google the Plex price increase, probably one of the first things you'll see is a Reddit post, and it says over here that starting April 29th, Plex Pass is going to increase the lifetime membership from $119.99 to $249.99 US dollar. And it has a link about the updates, and if we come over to the updates, it's pretty much going to cover everything that's going to go on, as well as the other price increases. So the monthly pass is going to go to $6.99. The yearly pass is going to go to $69.99, and like I said, the lifetime is $249.99. This is US dollars. It may vary in other countries and their currencies. So what I could see, the reason behind these price changes is, one, they're trying to make some more money. I'm going to guess to make up some operational costs, because when you run a Plex server, you don't share out your server directly. You do share it out, you give people access to it, but it proxies through Plex's servers, and that's how people access it publicly, or you access it publicly when you're not home. You're not opening up a port to that machine running Plex and somebody's connecting via that port exactly. It connects back to Plex's server, and then it proxies through so viewers can use it and connect to it and watch. So in a sense, you're paying for that feature, as well as the live TV, the playback, you have the DVR features, you have end credits, skip credits, there's hardware transcoding, there's a lot of features, and that's what we're paying for with the Plex Pass. I also have a Plex Pass. I got my lifetime pass about 2 years ago. It was a great thing I did, because now the prices are going up. Cost increase, from what I could tell, isn't purely just a greed move. It's that they're trying to increase the service and better operations, and they have to make up for the cost of what's going on. If they're going to proxy everybody's server, they can't just do it for free, unfortunately. It does cost money to operate servers and do the networking for them. So this is why I'm guessing it's going to cause an increase in pricing, and what caused this to happen. So based off of this, pretty much if you are somebody who runs a server and you don't have a Plex Pass, remote viewers aren't going to be allowed. So if you share it out, it's not going to really work. If you share it with your friend or your cousin or whoever it might be, they're not going to be able to view it. So somebody needs to have a Plex Pass, whether it's the viewer if they want to access it, or if you want to access it remotely. So local playback will work, but if you aren't local and you want to watch remotely, you do need a Plex Pass. It also has a breakdown of all the features between the Plex Pass and the free version. I don't want to make this into a whole video about Plex. I just wanted to compare some of the features and what's going on with the price increase, and then we're going to compare it to Jellyfin. So that's what we're going to move over to. So really, if you want to keep reading into all this, you can. There's going to be a ton of posts and articles and everything else, but today we're going to be talking about Jellyfin and how it's a free alternative to Plex. So we've covered Jellyfin in the past. I've set it up a couple times, and being that the price increase with Plex, it's a good free alternative to go to if you're interested. Maybe you don't currently pay for Plex Pass and you just ran your Plex server for free, and now you want another free alternative. This Jellyfin could be that alternative if you don't want all the benefits of Plex. So Jellyfin is similar in the aspect that you could host your server, you could share it out with your friends. It accepts all the media similarly to Plex. You have sync play, so you could watch together. They have clients on the different apps, so if you want to watch Android, Apple, Amazon, Roku, Kodi, and more, you can come over here, and there's a whole bunch of different ways to play back Jellyfin. You have the UI. I mean, it's really similar, just a little different in the aspect of there's no paywalls behind it. You have free hardware transcoding with Jellyfin. Trade-off is that there's no proxy, so you are sharing your Jellyfin server straight out to the internet. If you're going to share it out to your friends, your family, whoever, you're going to open it up directly. There's no proxy in between, so somebody's going to be connecting directly back to your Jellyfin server. That's enough of the rambling about this. Let's get into the setup. Today's setup Jellyfin, I'm going to be working on a Linux VM running on my Proxmox server. You can set it up however you'd like. There's the options for Windows, TrueNAS, Unraid. You can run it on a standalone box. You can run it on a standalone Windows box, standalone Linux. You can run it on virtual machines. You can have a native box with a graphics card on it. You can have a VM with a graphics card on it. You can run it on your NAS. The options are unlimited, but today we're going to just cover setting it up on Linux. So that's what we're going to go to today. And we're going to get how to set up the basic server, get some media going, and be all set to go. So if I don't cover the version that you want to set up, no problem. You could always go right back to the dock, and the setup's going to be pretty similar, other than my OS that I'm using versus yours most likely. So if we come over to the dock, it gives us the options of how to set it up. I mean, you have Kubernetes, Docker, Windows, Mac, Linux, Arch. You have different flavors. There's a ton of different stuff. And then if we come over to the installation, this is where you can really go through. So lots of different options, but like I said, today I'm going to be working with Linux. I have my Proxmox server over here. We're on the Bar My Tech server. To make my life so much easier, I started making templates so I could just clone this out and not have to spend 30-40 minutes making up an Ubuntu machine. So I'm just going to open this up, and then I'm going to SSH in, and then we'll start the setup. I'll be right back. So currently I am SSH'd into my Jellyfin box, and then I have the install dock over here. So we're just doing a little split screen action to make it a little bit easier. And if we read through, there are a couple options. We could use the repository for an automatic install. There's an extended one if you want to install this way, and then there's packages to break out for more of a manual installation. I want to do it simple, so I'm just going to use the automated script. So I'm just going to come over here and grab this curl script. We're going to paste that in, and we're going to run. And I'm going to let this run through, and it's going to start doing the install. So we'll be back when we have some prompts or anything that we need to do. Okay, so over here you can see now we're starting the prompts, and it asks me for my password, which is fine. And then over here it's just going to confirm that everything on the system looks right. So I'm running Ubuntu, it's a jammy release, and I'm running AMD 64. It looks good, so I'm just going to press enter. And now it's going to start going through and setting everything up. So we'll be right back. So you can see over here, it looks like the install is pretty much done, and down here it says it's just waiting for Jellyfin to fully start. And now you can see over here it made a service, so when the machine restarts, everything should work. And now over here it gives me how I can access my Jellyfin server. So I'm just going to put this over here for now. And then I want to come back because now we need to talk about how we want to link our media to our server. When it comes to actually connecting the media to your server, you have many different options, right? You can either make your VM or your computer or whatever you're using have a large hard drive part of it, so you can just put the media right on that drive and work from there. You can connect a USB hard drive and you can put all your media on there and plug it into the machine. Not the best option because of the read-write unless you're using USB 3 or higher. Other than that, the read-write might be a little slow and it might end up bottlenecking your playback. You could use like a network share or like a NAS or even a DAS if that's what you're running. You really have a lot of options. Like if you're running off a NAS, you could just mount your NAS share right from there. But today we're going to be talking about mounting a network share because I already have a network share set up with all my Plex media on there. But like I said, the options are up to you. If you want to just host it all locally and install it that way, you can. If you want to connect it over the network, you can as well. But today we're going to be talking about using it over the network. So let's get right into that. So to start off, what I did was I came back to my slash directory. So if I do a quick pwd, you can see I'm over here in slash, and all I did was do a sudo make dir jellyfin, and this is where I'm going to mount my NAS share. So I do have a QNAP NAS that has all my media on there, and that's where I'm going to mount it over here. So I'm just going to do a cd jellyfin. I did a cd jellyfin. I can go in here, and now I can mount it to this share. So I'm just going to mount that really quick. So the first thing we need to do to install the NAS over the network is do a sudo apt install cifs-utils. And what this is going to do is make it so it's going to give us the rest of the network tools so we can actually access our NAS across the network. So now we're all done with that. So now I can do a clear. And now, depending on how your network share is set up, like I'm using an SMB share. So what we're doing is we're telling Linux to mount it using CIFS. This is my NAS, so this is where you would put in your information for your network share. And then here's the actual shared folder. So my shared folder is Plex. This is where we want to mount it to. So my folder on this machine is /Jellyfin. And now over here, we're going to go through how we need to sign into it. So username would just be whatever your username is. Password for the share, and then there's version 3 for SMB. If you don't want to do it this way, you could do like a .smb file, and in there you could put in your credentials and you can mount it through here, and you could also do it that way through fstab. However, I'm just going to do it this way and make my life a little bit easier, so I'm going to edit this as needed, and then I'm going to mount this up. So like I was saying, you might want to use this like a .smb cred file or a credentials file if your password has special characters. So like if you have like exclamation, @ period, anything like that, it might interfere with the command, so it might be a little bit easier. So like what I did in my slash directory where I am over here, I have a file and it's a .smb cred. So in there, it has my username and password, so it'd be something like this. So I would do sudo nano.credentials, and I would do username equals Carmine, password equals password. And then from there, I would save it, and then I would just put that in this command over here. So I'll have this down in the description to make it a little bit easier. Like I said, you're going to mount, this would be whatever your mount is, and then mine is wherever I mount it to. So that's how that's going to work, like I said previously. So I'm just going to close this out, and then if I cd into my Jellyfin folder, you can see over here now it's attached to my NAS. So I'm actually all set to start working, and now we can go over to Jellyfin and start setting up that and get our server all going. If you're using a USB drive, you just need to mount the USB drive. Similarly, you would just do ls USB. You would see wherever it is, and then you would mount it to the drive. If you're just using local storage, it's already going to be in a directory, and then you could just use that directory out. So I'm going to minimize this. And now we're all set, so now I'm going to click enter, and now it's going to bring us to our Jellyfin setup. I'm just going to use English, and now we can set up our username. So I'm going to do Carmine, set up a nice password. We're going to click next, and now we can start setting up our library. So this is where we're going to do what we just did. So you have different options. You can do movies, music, shows, books, home videos and photos, music videos, mixed movies and shows. I'll just do movies, make it easy. We'll call it movies. And now we have some other settings about download language, country, region. That's fine. What database you want to use to get the metadata and tag it with. Most of this we're going to be good just leaving it default, and you can always change anything further, but these are like the default options. And the only thing we need to do other than that is I'll come over here to the plus sign, and we actually need to add our folder. So over here I have /Jellyfin and then movies. And now I can just click OK, and I click OK again. And now it's going to start adding my movies folder. Now if I want to do something else, I could do shows. And now I can come back over here to that /Jellyfin, and if you have TV shows, you can put it in here. I'll just click OK again. And now it's going to start importing as it goes, and then it'll be all set to use. So now I can just keep going through. So my metadata, I want to be in English. Now this is where you're going to be able to start initiating some of the remote access. So if you do want to share this out with people and you want to have remote access, you're going to have to check this off to allow the remote access, and then you can have it check off to try to set up the port forwarder. And if you do plan on setting this up to share with people, you are going to need to go in your router, your firewall, whatever it might be, and open up the port for Jellyfin so people can connect back. So you can check that off if you want. I'm just going to click next, and then we're all set. We can click finish, and now it should bring us to our Jellyfin dashboard where we're going to start seeing our Jellyfin server populate. So now we can sign in with our account we made before, and we can see that my server is starting to populate with some of my movies and TV shows I have. So you can see over here I have movies, I have my shows, some stuff starting to populate. And similarly to Plex, I have my home UI, I have some tools where I can like manage the metadata. So we have some options, we have settings, so this is where we can come through and we can kind of change some of the other stuff. So like if you want to change your display settings, you could do so. Your profile, you have controls. I mean, there's a bunch of different options in here you could play with, but really this is the base of how to set up Jellyfin. We have it now set up so you can locally access your media, and if you want to have somebody that can remotely access it. You just need to make sure to go in and port forward it. So like I was saying, you might want to share this out remotely with your friends, and that's fine. And this is where you have a couple different options. So you could either port forward and open it up so it's accessible publicly, or you use a VPN and you can give your friends a VPN to connect back. So you can use something like WireGuard, Tailscale, or something like that, and you can limit its access to just this machine. So when they do enable that VPN, they'll only be able to connect back to Jellyfin, and then maybe you have a DNS entry in the network, so they can just do like jellyfin.barmine.org, and then they can go straight to the Jellyfin server and start viewing. Just another option to share it publicly, but this is a free alternative to Plex. Jellyfin has hardware transcoded natively. You don't need to pay additional features for it, and it has apps for the majority of the services that you're going to be using, whether you're on like a Fire Stick, an Apple TV, Roku. You'll be able to access the Jellyfin server in some manner on all those devices. So that's how we set up Jellyfin. It's a free alternative to Plex, and with the price increases, some people might be more interested in going for this, so that's why I wanted to do this video of how to set it up and get everything going. As always, I'll have links to all the gear in my home lab below. I'll also have all the links to the Jellyfin information below as well. I'll have the link to the Discord server if you want to join up. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. And as my buddy Don would say, hack till it hurts.